Next to me, I have Phyllis Goldstein. She is the director of the, I want to get this right, the Lung Cancer Alliance New York. Is that correct? And then with her, she's brought Betsy McPhail. And are you with the Alliance?
I'm also working with them.
Okay,
yes.
good. And you're a presenter,
Yes,
actually. Both of these women have really interesting stories to tell because we're talking about lung cancer.
Yes.
And it's an amazing, what I found to be interesting is that lung cancer kills more people than breast cancer. And I mean, there's,
Yes.
it's amazing, pancreatic cancer, all of them combined.
Correct. And what is even more amazing, it kills nearly twice as many women as breast cancer each year, 3 times as many men as prostate cancer each year. And believe it or not, 80% of newly diagnosed cases are in either never smokers or former smokers who may have given up smoking years ago.
Which shows that cigarette smoking is not good for you.
Nope, it is.
And the fact that you say that 80% never smoked, but let's take the never smoked.
I'm sorry, 80% or
Never
or former.
Right, but let's talk about the never smoke. Could
You're
be
looking at
secondhand smoke,
Or it
Yes.
could be something else.
or asbestos, of course.
Or it could be
chromium
genetics.
and
Or it could a number of different things.
right. But I think smoking, we do know, is the one preventable thing that we can do.
That's correct.
And we can't prevent other types, you know. Well, asbestos, we probably can do that too. Yeah.
Right. Only 1 in 10 people who get lung cancer are smokers. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Only 1 in 10 people who smoke
Or active
get
smokers.
lung cancer.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm a never smoker, and I'm a rare person. I survived 9 years, and only 15% of us survive 5 years or more.
Right. I saw those figures.
Right.
What do you attribute your lung cancer? I mean, did you live with a smoker?
No, I didn't live with a smoker. My father died of lung cancer when I was 18.
Oh, okay.
It may be genetic. And I didn't have any symptoms. And the only way I got discovered was my friend had broken her arm near her shoulder, went to the emergency room, had a chest x-ray. There was a shadow on her chest. Well, she was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer and died 2 years later.
Oh my gosh.
6 months later, I had a cold. When it went away, I just had an occasional cough. My husband said, go to the doctor, go to the doctor. I said, oh, you're overreacting. Well, I went. I had stage 3A lung cancer, and I was lucky because mine was operable and hers wasn't.
So it was localized. They
Right.
could, yeah, it had
And,
metastasized.
right,
yeah.
and I'm a never smoker, wasn't exposed to secondhand smoke. So there are other causes of lung cancer besides that.
I mean, why do
right.
people get cancer anyway? I mean, there's so many. You lost your sister, Betsy.
I did lose my sister, my younger sister. She was 24 years old when she was diagnosed, and she died less than a year later. Hers was genetic. They know the cause of the genetic mutation. So it's just, it's important to me to work with the Lung Cancer Alliance, or have this great event coming up and kind of spread the word that anyone can get lung cancer. And no matter how you got it, it doesn't really matter because you don't deserve it. And
Well,
that's important.
you're right. It doesn't matter once you have it.
Right.
But the point is, as scientists, you got to try and figure out what's
Right.
causing this. What can we do? Is there a way that we can look at DNA? Is there a way of genetics? I mean, there's so many things that are coming down the forefront now.
Right. There's a big need for lung cancer research. It's the least funded major cancer. And
That's amazing, isn't
yes,
it?
Right. And it's the leading cause of all cancer deaths, second only to heart disease as a disease killer. And
Do you think it has a stigma?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Because that's kind of what I think. It's like, well, if they just didn't smoke, they wouldn't get it. So what you're doing is the awareness that it's
Right.
not just the smoke, but it could be contribute. I mean, I'm not saying that smoking
Right.
isn't bad,
Right.
but the point is that we really need to look at this in a new way.
Right, and as Betsy said, no one deserves to die from lung cancer.
no.
And
It's horrible.
And it's horrible because people who get lung cancer blame themselves, And they shouldn't. It's the tobacco companies we need to blame.
Yep, absolutely.
No one deserves to die from lung cancer.
And we got to get the kids to, I mean, of course, kids are invincible, right?
Yes.
I'm never
exactly.
going to get sick. Look, I'm smoking and nothing's happening to me. Next week, we'll be talking with the Albany College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. We're going to be talking about smoking cessation. So
Right.
we're really kind of looking at this in a couple of ways. So we're going to talk about that next week.
Right, and we need to educate the public about lung cancer, give them the facts, dispel the myths, and we need to provide hope, compassion, and support. And that's why we're having this.
And we're going to talk about this vigil
Yeah,
now.
right.
Tell us about that. And we have some photos too, so we'll do that. Go ahead.
And that's why we're having the Shine the
Absolutely.
Light Vigil on lung cancer, and that will be on Tuesday, November the 13th at Albany Medical Center, Hilton Garden Inn.
Right across the street.
Right. And at 6 o'clock, there'll be a cocktail reception, and then the program will start at 6:30. And the county executive, Dan McCoy, will deliver a proclamation declaring
We've got some
November
photos there.
Lung Cancer Awareness Month. And that's a picture of Dr. Fabian.
He's
And-
going to be speaking, right?
Yes, he is. He's the chief thoracic oncologist at Albany Med. And he's going to be telling us about the new guidelines for early screening of high-risk individuals.
And what are some of those?
Well, a high-risk individual is considered someone who has a 30-pack-year history. They had the NCI had a study where they found that low-dose CT scans can detect lung cancer in high-risk individuals, and it's the lung cancer mortality in the study was reduced by 20%
Well,
by
the
having
more
the
localized
scans.
it is, the better it is that you can remove it.
Right.
And
Right.
it hasn't metastasized into the other lung or surrounding tissue. I mean, that's very important to get it right at the get-go.
Yes.
Right,
so
but
to speak.
unfortunately, we don't have a simple blood test for everybody, like a blood sample, urine sample, your
They're
sputum.
working on that, I know
Yeah.
that. Just trying to find, is there some way that we can detect whether it's pancreatic cancer or whether it's ovarian cancer? Is there some way, is there some marker that we can find?
Yeah,
that
well,
will-
that's why we need lung cancer research, and we have, luckily, before Congress right now, the Lung Cancer Mortality Reduction Act, and it calls for the Secretaries of Health and Human Services, the Veterans Affairs, and Department of Defense to come together and develop a comprehensive lung cancer research plan.
I think that's
Right now,
a great
there's
idea.
nothing like that.
They're not
And-
organized.
Right,
They're
and we
kind
needed
of consolidated.
Exactly.
Because you don't want to duplicate efforts, you'd like to consolidate. You're going to be presenting, and you're going to be talking about your sister.
I will
or-
be talking about my sister and her story and what it's like to be in your 20s and have lung cancer and what it was like for my family and her friends. And it's just something you would never imagine would happen to you.
Yeah, and I mean, you think that age, that did she ever smoke?
She didn't smoke. She didn't have any risk factors. Like so many people, she didn't really have any symptoms. She kind of had a cough, but nothing out of the ordinary. She went to her doctor, went through rounds and rounds of misdiagnoses, finally had surgery, but at that point it was already stage 4.
Yeah. It's a pretty frightening diagnosis to get.
Oh, yes.
Did she get treated at Albany Med or?
She's from Vermont. She actually
she's
worked
from
with Dana Farber in Boston.
Okay. Oh, Dana Farber, so
great,
good.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Right, and lung cancer in never smoking women is one of the fastest growing cancer diagnoses. 25,000 women this year who are never smokers will be diagnosed with lung cancer.
Well, it's interesting. One of the famous cases, of course, is Christopher Reeve's wife, who never smoked, but she was a lounge singer and heavily smoking. There was a lot of smoking around her. And so some people, and I know, here I'm pontificating. It's like, you talk about going into, say, a bar or wherever it is. It seems like, well, we should have our right to smoke, but what is it doing to the people who don't smoke that are exposed to the, it's like putting junk in your body.
Yes, yes it is.
You know?
Right, and related to that, our veterans have a 25% greater chance of getting and dying from lung cancer than general population. Why?
Agent Orange.
Well, Agent Orange and tobacco. Tobacco was made free at first, and then it was subsidized.
World War II, they gave away free cigarettes.
And then it was subsidized, so they got hooked early on, and it's one of the hardest things to give up. Also, another cause could be radon, exposure to asbestos, depleted uranium, battlefield emissions, and environmental carcinogens, as you said, Agent Orange.
Protect your lungs.
Yes.
That's all I can say is protect your lungs. Whether it's, being all this like crap in the air. I'm sorry, probably that wasn't the right word to use, but it's emissions. It's like from motor vehicles.
Right, diesel fuel is a big cause too. So firemen, people who drive trucks on short haul deliveries, starting and stopping, get exposed to diesel fuel exhaust a lot, and that has been found to be also a cause.
Yeah, protect your lungs. That's all I can say. We put so much in our air, and your lungs are just, I love the pictures of the pink lungs and then the ones that are smokers, and I remember someone once said, well, it's smoking, and then they took a handkerchief and blew the smoke out through the handkerchief, and you see all that junk coming out, and it's like, well, that was going to be in your body.
Yes.
Why would you do that? So, Phyllis Goldstein, so nice to meet you. Eventually, we finally got together. Betsy, I'm sorry for your loss with your sister. I'm sure that this has kind of got you into a way of trying to spread the word.
Exactly.
And that's important.
Thank you.
So check it out. It's a vigil coming up, and that is on
November the 13th.
Okay.
Albany Medical Center, Hilton Garden Inn, 6 o'clock cocktail reception, 6:30 program.
Good. So check it out.